Welcome, everybody, to Pokésports, a competitive Pokemon podcast, the one and only place where you can get all of your fun VGC Smogon combination stuff. I'm Mike, and I play with one Pokemon on the field.
I'm Kevin, I play with two Pokemon on the field.
Yeah. And today, folks, it has been another week. Lots have happened in the world of Pokemon, and we are here to get into it. So with that, let's get right into what kind of national day it is today. Everybody is National Book Lovers Day. Kevin, did you read? Ooh. I have an image of the Pokemon books. Oh, geez. I think I just triggered something in Kevin. He knows that he has these. Oh, he's getting them. Oh, yeah. There you go.
I got a Pokemon book.
That's is that the manga?
Yeah.
Dude, so you're not even one of those kids that had all of the basically the cartoons, but in book form. You had the actual source material.
I just have that one book. My girlfriend got it for me because she said she found it in a
dumpster.
store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this for Kevin." I love it.
That's actually really cool.
I didn't even read it yet, but I love it.
I kind of want that.
You know what's funny? Speaking of books, randomly when I was recording today, I asked everyone, "What's your favorite book?" Mm-hmm. And then when you said it's National Book Day, that blew my mind.
Whoa! And so, what kind of answers did you get?
Well, I don't know yet. Oh, that video doesn't exist yet.
Oh, I see. So basically, that's gonna be there for people.
Yeah, eventually. My answer to that question was, I don't read much.
Oh,
so please give me suggestions.
Guys, if anybody in the chat has any kind of book suggestions, definitely let us know, because we're looking to read. It's been a little while in quarantine. We're feeling stupid. So let's get some books going. So that's for today, Sunday, August 9th, National Book Lovers Day. If you are listening to this podcast as it comes out on podcast providers on Wednesday, August 12th, it is National Middle Child Day. And you might be looking at this and you're like, why is there an electric on the board here? I will tell you, when I go and look up images for these things for the national days, I always try and keep it Pokemon themed. So of course I add Pokemon to my search query. So I looked up middle child Pokemon, and for some reason, this is the first thing that comes up. An electric is the first thing that comes up here.
I mean, it
is a middle
looks
evolution.
Just like it,
doesn't he?
Looks identical.
I suppose. It's the middle child of the what's it called? Temple?
Tynamo?
What? Tynamo. That's right. What am I thinking of? What's the Seismitoad first guy? Is that Timpole?
Seismitoad first guy?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Timpole is the first. Yeah. Well, because its evolution is unforgettable Palpitoad, and then Seismitoad after that is Seismitoad. So
unforgettable Palpitoad.
Is it not? Because it's like Star Wars Palpatine.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, Emperor Palpitoad. There are plenty of memes for Emperor Palpitoad. Oh, I'm so glad. Was I the first person to tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh,
and now that I'm looking at it, Palpitoad, I'm pretty sure it looks exactly like Palpatine.
Basically, yeah. That's more or less it.
Just pretend it's in a hood.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
I am seeing a lot of people in the chat talking about their favorite books. This be Jake saying the Stormlight Archive. I haven't heard of the Stormlight. It sounds like a what's the genre that is Game of Thrones?
Weather.
What's that?
The weather genre.
Oh, that's
I don't know. It's about storms.
It's a Rolodex of all previous 5-day forecasts for the past 10 years.
The yellow pages of weather.
Yeah, really. Dynamo saying Palpatine the Palpitoad. Thanks, Mike and Kev. No, I can't ever unsee that. Fantasy. Thank you, Jake. I don't know why I forgot the term fantasy, but yes. Great genre of book. But today we are not just here to talk about our favorite books and all of that. We're here to speak about Pokemon. Let's get into some of the news that happened this week. So first off, in Smogon news, Look at this guy. Look at this guy right over here. This is Astroladdle. All right. Back in June, Smogon concluded its 27th edition of Create a Pokemon. Astroladdle was the winner, and it was designed by, I don't have the name on me, but it was designed. And it, with the stats that people gave it, it's competitive. This guy's competitive. Kevin, take a look at this this set over here, and you'll be able to see. It's basically a what's the other fire dragon? Turtonator. Yeah, it's basically a Turtonator with Heatmore's Fire Lash, which lowers defense by 1 stage, which Center Scorch also learns. But like very singles heavy, right? So it has the heavy duty boots. It's got regenerators, so as you swap it out, it's healing back up. It's good, really fast.
This is interesting. It's almost like everything Turtonator should have been, but isn't.
Right?
It's like super fast. It's basically like 114. Has a pretty average special attack and attack, so you can kind of go both ways.
It's kind of cool too that it like kind of has Turtonator's well, I guess it's shell as a like end of its coat. Cloak. Yeah. I think its moveset's really cool. Spike's toxic. I don't really know why they have 2 kind of setup-y things like that, but personally I would remove the toxic and put another kind of offensive move. Or remove spikes and put protect. Because if you're going to put toxic, then why not put protect, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like it. It's interesting. I think the typing in general is pretty busted typing. There's not enough fire dragons, but that typing is like really strong.
Yeah. And I think if you like added it to the OU roster, it could actually see some pretty solid play. So congrats to the winner of the 27th Create a Pokemon edition.
What is this?
It's a thing. It's just a thing. Like people.
Okay, so Smogon just create Pokemon and make that into their own metagame.
Well, because
that's cool.
Have you ever just like sat there and been like, oh man, I wish there was a this and this type or a this kind of type that could do this and have like X kind of move. That's basically what they had people make.
They should make a dolphin.
Okay.
That's it. Water type probably. Water flying because they can breathe.
That's fair. Okay. Water psychic because they're really smart.
It's also true.
You're making a better what's the guy with the strong jaw? Bruxish.
Slowking.
Yeah, that's it. Strong jaw Slowking.
I mean, the Shelter has a pretty strong jaw. It doesn't let go.
This be Jake saying Astroladdle should have some fighting moves. Yeah. That's fair.
Focus Blast, done. Close Combat has arms.
That's
even
true.
Better.
That's true. High Jump Kick, it has legs. Breaking Swipe, it has a tail. Breaking Swipe wouldn't actually be all that bad on this.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Good stab.
But speaking of Pokemon that
don't exist,
Zarude's here. We got him.
Zarude.
We got him. It's Zarude. Zarude has been released and is available for OU use. So, I mean, that's something. It's also pretty competitive. Like looking at its stats, they min-maxed it pretty hard. That special attack is nowhere to be seen.
I'm surprised how tanky they made this thing.
Right?
I thought this was going to be Glass Cannon, give it like 40 HP, 20 defenses, like
yeah.
But they gave it 105 HP with 105 defense and 95 special defense. Like that's not bad.
That's
Granted,
not bad.
Its typing is holding it back like a lot. But
oh man, it's so unfortunate. It's typing. It's getting it's the Shiftry problem.
Yeah,
like Shiftry's by and large a pretty good Pokemon, but its typing just makes it so barely usable. It doesn't share any it doesn't benefit from its second typing with any of its like primary typing. So all of the grass weaknesses, it's not like dark resists. All of the dark weaknesses, it's not like grass resists.
Mm-hmm. Like it literally is weak to 7 things.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Fire, ice, fighting, poison, flying, fairy, and 4 times to bug. You know your typing's bad when you're 4 times weak to bug.
Yeah. when you've got like U-turns basically KOing you. Like this thing is lucky that it has 105 defense. I feel like anything that has dark and grass needs at least a defense of 100. unless it's going to, otherwise it's going to get knocked out by U-turns, by like a Cinderace. Does Cinderace even use U-turn? Not really.
Not that I've seen. But like looking at this Pokemon,
yeah,
like in all reality, I can't think of a reason to use this above Rillaboom.
Yeah,
if I'm gonna be honest.
That's true.
I mean, that's with my like VGC brain, but I feel like Rillaboom's probably still good in singles right now.
I guess if you need like some coverage for fighting or for rock, then you might want to roll this because it does learn close combat. It does learn rock slide. It can dole out some pretty powerful U-turns, but I don't know. Even like with the Darkest Lariat that this thing gets, like you can just put knockoff on a Rillaboom and it will do a ton of damage.
Why couldn't this thing get a better ability?
That would be nice. Leaf Guard is tough. Yeah.
Oh boy. Gotta run from this Pokemon with a Leaf Guard. I've been so afraid of Leafeon lately.
True.
With that Leaf Guard ability,
Stark Maximum in the chat with Pin Missile got me sweating. I like that a lot, actually. It's very funny. Yeah. So that's Zarude. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit and how you can actually get it. But that, my friends, is that. Next up, boom. Look at these guys. I feel like we've talked about Magearna and Cinderace like 7 weeks in a row. But essentially,
Cinderace and who?
Magearna. Sorry, Magearna. That's Magearna.
Magnezone?
That's it. So Magnezone and Cinderace have both been moved to Ubers, folks. Magearna and Cinderace have both moved to Ubers. What do you think about the Cinderace move to Ubers? Because a lot of people are kind of back and forth on this one.
I mean, I think if I can recall back to like Pokésports episode 2,
yeah,
we were looking at it and we were like, okay, Cinderace is insta Ubers, right? The second this Libero thing comes out, it's like going straight there. I'm surprised it lasted 2 months.
It really did take a while, yeah.
I mean, maybe the coverage moves that Cinderace get, never mind, it gets Iron Head. It could deal with. It's fine. Yeah, bring it to Ubers. Take everything I was about to say.
Max Airstream is a thing. Bring it to Ubers. Yeah, no.
People are just afraid. People in OU are just afraid that this pretty little bunny has Iron Head and can OHKO their stupid Clefable. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Look at that. Yeah,
that's
true.
What they're afraid of.
Both of these are Clefable threats, and both of these out. Interesting.
Coincidence?
Kevin thinks not. Kevin is conspiracy theory against Clefable.
How is Clefable still in there?
Stark Maximum saying Greninja wasn't Greninja Ubers at some point too. Exactly. And that is 100% why we said that that Cinderace was going to get the same treatment, because we were like, oh, Cinderace is basically Greninja. Like it's heading straight to Ubers. But what a lot of people are saying is that it's not so much the Pokemon that needs to move, but the ability that needs to move. They're saying that Libero or Libero, I don't know how you actually pronounce it because I don't know English that well. It's only my only language. They say that is what makes Cinderace too hard to deal with, because it just keeps on switching its ability. You don't have a concrete thing to take care of it. But I mean, welcome to Pokemon also.
I mean, that is a good point. They made that same point back when they banned Galarian and Darmanitan, because technically Zen mode was also Ubers, which makes no sense because Zen mode is like really bad. But yeah, I don't know. They did. I think they reverted that. They did change it later on to make Guerrilla Tactics the ban.
Yes.
I don't know. Don't quote me, but that sounds like something that I remember.
That sounds accurate, right? I mean, that nobody's gonna. Well, the only thing you can use is Zen mode then.
Yeah.
So people tried it. Oh God, people tried it.
I tried it. I gave up. I didn't even upload a video on it because I literally gave up on like testing it. I was like, oh no, this is just bad.
Oh, you tried. Congratulations, you tried. The RU Council has decided to open up these following Pokemon from RUBL back into RU. Those being Barraskewda, Drampa, Goodra, and DDF, which was strange. Inteleon, Linoone, Ninetales, Sigilif, and Virizion. So they were in RUBL before. They have been moved back to RU because of the big change in Isle of Armor metagame. Specifically, you look over at the Indeedee there and you'll see like, wait a second, that's Indeedee. Like, Indeedee was RU?
Like, shouldn't that be doing better because Isle of Armor? I don't know.
For sure. Right?
Maybe it's just not doing that good in the above tier. What's above RU? UU? Yeah, maybe just not doing that good in UU. So they're just like, let's just bring him back.
But it's got expanding force.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah, the fact that Linoone...
What's in is Rillaboom in RU? Maybe that's why they brought it back to RU, just so you can kind of have that terrain thing going on, and you have that hard counter to it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Do I actually know that? No, I don't. I think Rillaboom's got to be OU though, right? It needs to be.
Singles is weird.
Yeah. There's Rillaboom in OU. That's used pretty heavily in OU.
Rillaboom is also in. There's usage in RU too. So what tier is this?
That makes sense.
So it has to be lower than RU? No way, it's NU.
Hey man.
I don't know.
But Linoone got moved back though.
Yeah.
So looks like we've got the extreme
Rillaboom's
speed.
OU. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Got the extreme speeder back. The main extreme speed boy.
Belly drum extreme speed.
Mm-hmm. Barraskewda, the only flip turn user as well.
That's
the only viable flip turn user.
Dude, don't laugh at my boy Sharpedo though.
Hey,
you got to give yourself the speed boost and then lose it immediately with the flip turn.
Thank you.
That's the strat.
That's exactly how you do it. You protect, flip turn.
Or Thug of the Lake gets it too, dude. Adaptability, flip turn.
Oof, that's powerful. It's got some chunk right there, some chunk. All right, so that is Smogon, my friends. Moving on to back to this guy, Zarude. So you might have been thinking, how do I go and get myself a Zarude? I want to use it in OU, and I play OU on cartridge. If you pre-book a ticket for the new movie, Pokemon the Movie Coco, you will get a serial code that you can use to remove, or to pick one up, to redeem, to pick one up for yourself. To remove that from the pool of Zarudes that is that is sitting there waiting to be claimed. If you take your Zarude to the Isle of Armor station, you'll also get yourself an Ash-ish kind of cap. So that's kind of cool. So if you see anybody with like a Ash cap rolling around in battles, that's where that's from.
They made it behind the paywall.
That's it.
Also, you get that shiny Celebi too, right? Something like that.
That's right. Yeah. You basically get that's true. This is, people say the Pokemon isn't pay to win. This is a $10 to $15 Pokemon right here.
I mean, in this case, I'm not too convinced that Zarude's a pay to win. It's more like a pay to lose.
Pay to include.
There it is. Pay to include.
Pay to try. Yeah. During the Trainers Cup stream, a code for a shiny Amoonguss was released with max IVs in all but attack and speed. And it is apparently EV trained, although it's EV trained in kind of, I think it's like using the most popular one. I'm not exactly sure.
It's actually the exact copy of the Korean.
Oh, is that right?
World's finalist. Their 2019 Amoonguss spread.
It's
like so it's spec'd for VGC 2019, but I mean the EVs are still pretty self-explanatory. It's like a little bit of it's like a lot of HP, a lot of defense, a lot of special defense.
Right. You can use the code Trainers Cup, except the I is a 1 in all caps, to go and grab one of those. You just go to Mystery Gift and get via internet, and then you type in Tra1 Ners Cup. And you will grab one. If you're listening to this on the day of the podcast recording, you can still get it. So all of you guys here on Twitch, you can still get it. If you're listening to this on the day that the podcast has come out, then you cannot. So this one,
maybe you should have joined our Discord.
That's
or
it.
Followed us on Twitch, so you would have known it's existing.
Or Twitter. We tried to spread the word on Twitter today. So go and get yourself a shiny Amoonguss, because it is nasty good. It's nasty good. Another thing that you can get today and today only, actually August 9th, is all of the members of the Pichu family. Look at that. All the Pikachu guys. Get yourself a Pichu, a Raichu, and a Alolan Raichu all in max raids. I personally would suggest going for the Alolan Raichu. I think that's really good. Really underrated.
They have a shiny chance too.
They do.
Like a high one.
There's a pretty high chance for shiny as well. But yeah, this is ending today, or this has ended today. So if you did or did not get a chance to go and get it, then good job or too bad. And then in esports news, Rose Tower Clash 14 happened this weekend. It was the final chance for people to grab their points for the Rose Tower Championship event. If you'll remember, at the end of August is actually going to be their championship, August 29th. August 22nd is going to be their playoffs, and then August 15th is going to be their last chance qualifiers. So if anybody still wants to participate in the Rose Tower Cup, Rose Tower Championship, then you still have a little bit of time. But it's almost coming to a close.
LCQ, you're going to play a lot of Pokemon, but you might get the chance to be in the tournament.
I mean, maybe it's taken like one very, very unique person to kind of, put dots and red string all over their wall, trying to figure out like the best team possible. And then they finally found it and they're like, oh no, but it's August. It's the middle of August. How do I do it? That's how you do it.
So easy. I can tell you what the best team possible is just off the top of my head.
Tell me what the best team possible is, Kevin.
Okay. It's Togekiss, Dragapult, Excadrill, Tyranitar, Rillaboom, Incineroar.
Okay.
Done.
Huh. Yeah.
Welcome to VGC 2020.
That's the best team possible. You've done it. How did you do that so quickly?
I wonder why. They're everywhere, Mike.
They are everywhere. You know what else is everywhere? Terrain. And we will be talking all about terrain when we come back from the break. We're going to be breaking down what terrain actually is and what has changed with the Isle of Armor. I know we went over terrain once before, but we figure that we'll give people a little refresher because now we are officially in the terrain war meta. So we need to get prepared for that. So we will see you in just a second. And welcome back to Pokésports, everybody. Guys, it is terrain time. We have been in what I like to call the terrain war meta for upwards of almost 2 months now. What? A month and a bit. And we're into Series 5.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I've kind of gotten used to it. I hated it at first, dude.
Really?
Like when the terrain was super heavy and like expanding force was super popular and then Rillaboom was super annoying. It's like, I was like, I don't like this metagame right now.
Yeah.
But I think I finally got used to it. People kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, Rillaboom's still everywhere. But people slowed down with the expanding force spam just because dark types are super popular. So that made it a little bit better.
I mean, that's basically how the meta works, right? Is like there's one big super popular thing, and then there's the counter meta that completely tries to break that super popular thing, and then the super popular thing becomes a completely different thing to deal with what was counter meta. So it's a whole thing. Some of the big things that have come out from Isle of Armor, one being obviously Grassy Surge Rillaboom, Tapu Bulu 2.0, which grassy terrain, of course, increases the power of grass type moves by 30% and also allows the Pokemon to slowly restore health. But the big thing about Rillaboom being popular is that all of the other terrains were also popular around the same time. So Rillaboom was used to take away terrain and make it so the opponent doesn't have the ability to use all of those terribly scary terrain moves themselves.
Not to mention, like, out of all the other terrain setters, Rillaboom's got the best stats.
Yeah.
In comparison, I could definitely say that it has the best stat distribution, and with it had like its weakest stat is the special defense, and an assault vest can just fix that.
Right.
to the point where you don't care about it.
I remember like a little while ago, you looked this up actually. Is Tapu Bulu's better, right? Just by and large, like a better Rillaboom.
I think so. The typing is probably worse because Tapu Bulu doesn't get a fairy stab for some reason.
Oh. Huh.
So,
but it will be getting Grassy Glide, which is fun.
It will be getting Grassy Glide, and I think it also will be getting Misty Explosion. So it's finally going to get a stab move. It's just not physical.
That was one of the cool things. That was one of the pretty cool things about the Tapus this generation is they're all getting Misty Explosion. So
they all get the option to just
peace out of there. Yeah, it's fun. So yeah, grassy terrain usually comes in to stop psychic terrain, which of course ups the power of psychic moves by 30%. And priority moves used by an opponent do fail if you have psychic terrain up. Michael. I'm sorry.
Like Sucker Punch?
Hey, listen, Sucker Punch, and I've started giving out subs every time I Sucker Punch in psychic terrain.
Oh, that's a smart incentive.
I've had to commit myself. I've had to like commit money to my growth at this point.
That's the only way you learn, Mike.
Yeah. Because it was happening too often that I was like, no, you know what? I need some way of remembering how not to expanding force or how not to sucker punch in psychic terrain. So that is
Mike took his wallet, put it on the table, and was like, okay, it's time to learn Pokemon voice.
That's gonna be how I start every stream. Is just like, whoop, bam.
Every time I forget psychic terrain, I gift the sub. That's all. That's the title right there.
Yeah. But of course, psychic terrain being the thing that Indeedee likes to set up, the whole idea is expanding force, which just doubles its power in psychic in psychic terrain and also becomes a spread move. For some reason, it just like becomes the most broken VGC viable move in the game.
They went over the top with that.
They went a little hard on expanding force, but again, that was just a way that they're like waving the terrain is starting, terrain wars are starting, ring the bell, ding ding ding, terrain wars, ding ding ding.
It's crazy though, because like terrains have been out since Gen 6.
Yeah,
and no one realizes that because no one used them.
Yeah, no one cared.
You had to use that move, like the I guess the terrain move, like grassy terrain, etc. Yeah. Those are all moves. You'd have to use the move in order to get the terrain, and that would take a turn. So then Gen 7, they're like, okay, let's tease these guys a little bit more. Let's give them auto setters. So they gave us the Tapus. And Tapus actually did take over VGC for a very long time. It did make terrain very relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Every team had at least one or two Tapus on them, especially in VGC 2017 and 2018. And then now they came in with the Isle of Armor. And Sword and Shield gave us new setters also. I guess I should mention that. We have the Rillaboom, I forgot all the other ones.
Pincurchin, Indeedee, and what's the other one? Misty. Sorry, Weezing.
Yeah, Misty Weezing. But yeah, then they dropped like Isle of Armor on us. They're like, okay, guys, we have like 5 or 6 different terrain moves.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Exactly. So again, the one in psychic terrain being expanding force. Next up is Misty Terrain, which is kind of a different one. They didn't want to buff Fairy anymore because Fairy's already pretty broken. So they instead reduced the power of Dragon type moves by 50%. And Pokemon are immune to new status conditions. So if you set up Misty Terrain, some people might not know this, but you will actually not fall asleep and yawn. You will not be able to get toxic. You will not be able to get thunder waved or paralyzed. New status conditions won't happen. And again, we say new because existing ones don't go away. So if you're already asleep and then Misty Terrain comes up, you're not going to wake up. That's not how it goes.
It's also important to mention that if your Pokemon is flying or levitating, then none of this applies to them.
Right.
They're not affected by terrains at all.
A lot of people forget that.
Yeah. I especially forget it for like Togekiss. I think my Togekiss is safe from fake out if I'm in psychic terrain. I'm just like, oh wait, never mind, I got wings.
Yeah. Just not happening.
But something that I didn't know is that for electric terrain, if your Pokemon is already sleeping, the electric terrain will wake it up.
Really?
But it doesn't work with the misty terrain. If you're asleep and then you set up the misty terrain, you won't wake up.
I'm thinking about that thing you just said with Togekiss getting fake outed. Is that how that works? Does that go that way? What about the other way around? What if you're a flying type using fake out? Does that always work on any grounded Pokemon?
No, because the grounded Pokemon are touching the ground, so they're protected by the psychic terrain.
So if both of them are flying, then, or both of them are levitating, then
yes, you can.
Okay, interesting.
So the terrain, you could think of them as like shields.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pokemon touching the ground receive the shield. Like they receive the health, they receive the ability not to fall asleep, etc., etc. And the ones that are flying don't have that protection. So you are able to fake them out if they're flying, but they can't fake you out because you're protected by the shield.
Interesting. And then the Misty Terrain move is of course Misty Explosion, which isn't a thing very much yet, but I have a feeling that we may or may not be seeing some kind of application for that in the coming months. That'll be fun. And then of course there's Electric Terrain. Electric Terrain right now is my absolute favorite. Power of electric moves is increased by 30%. Pokemon can't fall asleep, again, including things that have been yawned. So if a Pokemon has been yawned and electric terrain comes up, the Pokemon does not fall asleep the following turn. And then, of course, the move being used with it is Rising Voltage. The user attacks with electric voltage. It doubles from a 70 power move to a 140 power move in electric terrain, which again is pretty nuts when you think of the Pokemon that can use that right now. Like big ones are Pincurchin and Raichu, both of which big special attackers. It's a special move, goes from 70 to 140, so it's 140 plus it gets Stab, which is another same type of attack bonus, which is another 50% onto that, so that's another 210. And then electric terrain increases it by 30% again, so that's like quick math, like 60
a lot.
60 something, 62, 63. So that's like a 273 power move being used on the opponent. It's pretty nasty.
Now for the rising voltage, you notice how much that hurts because it's single targeted. But for like expanding force, if it's spread move, it hurts a lot, but you don't notice it too much. It won't get your Okos. But have you ever seen a single targeted expanding force in
it's insane
terrain?
It's crazy.
It's so disgusting, which is probably why I guess Indeedee is doing so well, like female Indeedee, in singles, and like probably male is doing even better.
Male's doing so much better, yeah. Because people use like what are people using female Indeedee for, right? Like in VGC, people use the female Indeedee for redirection and like all that kind of stuff, helping hand, exactly. But both of those things follow me not usable in singles. So in singles, you're going to be using the Indeedee M just because it does more damage. A lot more damage. a ton. So those are the terrains that we're seeing right now. But again, there are some. I'm starting to see some kind of increase in the things that abuse terrain or remove terrain. Things like Steel Roller, which can only be used when there's terrain on the field. It's like a super high powered steel move. And then Terrain Pulse, same thing. Base 130. That's nuts. And
disgust.
Exactly. And then Terrain Pulse as well, to use whatever terrain's on the field. Most of the time, you're actually going to have terrain on the field. So things like Weather Ball, which are only used in like weather teams, it's unlike that because not 100% of the time can you expect there to be terrain or to be weather. But almost 100% of the time, you can expect there to be some kind of terrain, either from the Pokemon that are being used or from the moves that they use from Dynamax.
Especially right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like in this current meta, like every team is probably going to have a terrain. If there's no terrain on the enemy team and you have terrain on your team, you're kind of at an advantage just right off the bat. Another big thing with Steel Roller it finally gives physical steel types a stupidly strong Dynamax steel move.
That's true. Like even if you're not using Steel Roller for Steel Roller, you just Dynamax your Pokemon and you're able to use that Steel Spike. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's pretty nasty. Spilled Tea in the chat says Azumarill loves its Steel Roller. Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of the things that makes Azumarill like truly viable this go around. It's real good. Huge power Steel Roller. Yes, please. I'll take that.
It's actually an interesting thing. Like that move made such a difference on Azumarill that most Azumarill sets don't even go Belly Drum anymore. Like that was the only way to make Azumarill viable before.
Yeah.
Now you could just stick Assault Vest, Dynamax, and then just have fun with your coverage moves.
Exactly. This B Jake says I even use Steel Roller with Duraludon, even though it's a special attacker. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just a high powered steel move. Same kind of mentality as people who bring like Fly on their special Dragapult just for the Dynamax Airstream.
Gotta go fast.
Exactly. I always call it Dynamax Airstream. It's not. It's just Max Airstream. But I feel like I have to quantify that it's also Dynamax.
At least you remember the Airstream part. I just say Max Fly. Max Wind.
I'm pretty sure at this point I know all of the Max moves.
I still give them names. Like I still say like Max Water for what is it? Max
that one's
Geyser.
Tough. Max Geyser. Yeah.
Max Fire move. Max. I'm so bad with that. How do you guys listen to my commentary?
I think
Max Grass.
Max Wormwind is cool enough though that you can't really forget it. Max Bird says Stark Maximum. I need to pause. I need to dead stop this podcast to talk about Max Bird. Caca. Yeah. Wait, what's the Overgrowth? That's right. Overgrow.
Max Grass.
It took me a second there. I was like, wait a second. Max Mindstorm. Yeah. We got them all. Max Fairy. What's Max Fairy? Max Starfall. Yeah.
Why do I remember that one? Never mind.
Remember Max Smite.
What? Oh, Hattereens. Yeah.
Wait. Oh, that's Hattereens. Am I thinking Max Strike?
Yes, that's.
Oh, that's normal. A normal, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I got my Smite and Strike confused. They made two that were like the exact same sounding thing. Get out of here. Get out of my house. So, I mean, hey, start to use the terrain if you haven't already, or if you find that you're having trouble with it in the actual metagame, bring things like Steel Roller. Like Steel Roller, I could use this podcast as just a like 1 hour PSA as bring Steel Roller on your team. It's not bad.
Also, elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. We completely glazed over Grassy Glide. What the heck were they thinking?
Honestly, that's +2, right?
No, that should gets priority.
I know, but
it's +1 priority.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's the same priority as like.
It feels like +2 sometimes.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's just like what most other +1 priority moves, like Bullet Punch, like Mach Punch, are only base 40 power. Mm-hmm. Who in the right mind decided to make this base 70 power?
And
it's ridiculous.
Again, I need to go on my rant of 70 power in grassy terrain ups it by 30. You use it on a stab Pokemon, that's already +115, +30% after that. That's like 145. So you're using like a max move on somebody else with priority.
On Rillaboom, who usually goes max attack with base 125 attack.
Yes.
That's the problem here, folks. And guess what? Tapu Bulu's gonna get it too, and that has even more attack than Rillaboom.
Oh my god.
I can't wait. Oh no.
I'm super curious what Tapu Bulu's attack stat. 130. That's 130. I mean, granted it's not that speedy, but again, it's priority.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, Crown Tundra meta is gonna really make this whole terrain war just even more in depth, because they're not opening up a lot of new weathers. Like the weather setters we have are kind of already here, except for the legendary ones.
Yeah.
What they're opening up is like terrains, because the Tapus, for all intents and purposes, are all better than the current ones we have now.
Yeah.
they're all meant to be better. The one that I would say maybe isn't is Lele, because Lele doesn't have like follow me, doesn't have that, supportive option. But
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that can replace Alakazam pretty well.
That is a good point.
People using Alakazam and Indeedee.
Well, there's no point of doubling into Psychic. I guess you could do another follow me user like Clefairy or Togekiss. That could work too.
Yeah,
that is true. It's just gonna take over that other like.
Yeah, Mr. PBF saying the typing is way better. Yeah, that's true.
Also true. Yeah.
Ugh. That's going to be an interesting time. Yeah, Lele is better than male Indeedee. Not quite better, I believe, than female, but definitely stronger.
It's not a better support option,
right?
But it the base, like, what is it, 145 special attack? Yeah,
people will definitely be experimenting with it. Yeah, Tapu Koko, too. Getting rising voltage. They all get
their moves. Yeah, they all get their terrain moves. It's so disgusting.
This Isle of Armor was basically made to buff the Tapus, right?
Hey, except for Finny.
Doesn't Finny?
What can Finny do? Explode.
Oh yeah, that's true. Finny didn't get flip turn, did it?
I think it does, but who cares?
But yeah, right.
Flip turn was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I remember when the leaks came out. Like, I don't know. I look at leaks. We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but the leaks came out. People were speculating on flip turn, like, oh my god, water type U-turn so good. And then it came out, they're like, wait, why are you giving it to all the special Pokemon?
yeah, really. It's just not there yet. So maybe we'll get another update to that, like maybe Crown Tundra move tutors.
Question mark?
But make Finny relevant. Who knows? So I mean, with Crown Tundra coming again, it's just going to be more stuff for terrain to do. One thing that I've mentioned this too many times, but I am so excited for Nidoking that, even with all of this terrain stuff, like it's going to have super powerful Thunderbolts. It doesn't really have that good of a psychic coverage, but I think electric terrain Nidoking might be pretty decent.
I mean, that could be. I mean, Nidoking in general is going to be very decent. Once the Tapus come back,
yes,
they're all weak to poison. So poison's going to take a very, very big precedence on the meta immediately. Like, that's my prediction. My prediction is that dark types will still be relevant, but poison types will be up there with them just because of how many new fairy introductions we're going to receive.
Yeah.
And also steel is going to be very relevant also because it deals with all the fairy introductions and all the ice introductions that the Crown Tundra is bringing.
That's very true.
Just looking at what the Pokemon that Crown Tundra is bringing, it's a lot of ice types. The ones that they've revealed so far, like Aurorus, like Cryogonal. Granted, those aren't good Pokemon, but I'm sure more ice types will come as the game continues. And steel also deals with the fairy too.
But I mean, until then, we still do have our Isle of Armor mines, one of which being this guy right here, Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu is today's Pokésports Pokemon Spotlight, typically running the held item choice specs with the ability Surge Surfer because of all of that electric terrain. Electric terrain, of course, it doubles its speed. Doesn't work in psychic terrain, of course, but it is still viable in psychic terrain with the expanding force. Raichu gets expanding force. Please remember this, folks. It's a psychic type. It's an electric psychic type. So it also gets rising voltage, which super fast Raichu using a super powerful rising voltage KOs so many Pokemon. Volt switch if you want to just get out of there. And then Surf. I like to run Surf. It's a very common coverage move on Raichu as well, but I like to use it for the Max Geyser because sometimes you just want to get rid of that. You just want to get rid of that rain. Want to get rid of a psychic terrain that might have come up from the opponent that you want to get rid of. Same thing with grassy terrain. Sometimes you need to reset that terrain in Dynamax. So Surf is a great use for that. Then potential replacement moves, of course, being Fake Out because it is a Pikachu family. It gets Fake Out. Protect, Focus Blast, Speed Swap. A lot of people have been starting to use Speed Swap on their Pokemon, and I am here for it. That's not bad.
It's interesting. It's not terrible. I've seen Alakazam with Speed Swap too. Like, it can work.
Yep.
It depends. Rabombi, I guess.
I'm sorry? Ribombi?
Yeah, that gets Speed Swap.
That's a thing? Oh, no. So consider putting an Alolan Raichu on your team. This is a Pokemon that's going to be on my team this coming month for the Pokésports Patron League. Of course, I am participating in that as per last month as well. So you may be able to see some of my games using these in the upcoming month, I suppose.
And if you're listening to this on Wednesday, you're too late.
Uh-oh.
Sign up for next month.
That's true. That's actually going to be all of the stuff that we have to talk about for our podcast. But before we go, I definitely want to go and make the rounds of shout outs that we always have to do. One of which being a review from Apple Podcasts this week. This review comes from Mexican Mohican. Says, great and informative Pokemon VGC related podcast that also covers Smogon. And I want to stop there. And I want to say, excuse me. It's a VGC related podcast that also covers Smogon.
I mean,
not wrong.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. Weekly content that's always a fun listen. If you're into competitive Pokemon, this is def a podcast to try out. Thank you very much, Mexican Mohican. It's a very funny way of saying, hey, you guys don't actually do Smogon.
Hey, we cover it.
We cover it.
It's talked about. Mike streamed NU, so we can say we do Smogon now.
You know, that's true. I think from now on I'll be doing it Discord only, because I don't particularly like how Showdown is represented on Twitch.
This is a crazy plot twist, since we just had a whole episode of right? Showdown last week.
You know, but I tried it. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do a stream on Twitch using Showdown, see what happens. And I personally didn't like it too much, because it was my normal amount of streaming, but games again move so quickly that you get about 50 games in and you're like, okay, it's been 2 hours. Let's do something else.
You were fatigued.
I was very fatigued. Yeah. I was very fatigued. So
it also don't look so pretty.
But I mean, well, I'll definitely be going back to cartridge stuff. Maybe I'll do some singles on cartridge as well. But yeah, for now we'll compete with some VGC. And we'll see what happens from there. Exactly. You got to practice for the Liege. I want to shout out this week our YouTube and our Patreon, Pokésports YouTube, youtube.com/Pokésports, and then our Patreon, patreon.com/Pokésports podcast. If you have missed out on signups for this month's league, that's all right. We will be doing one next month. But what you can do right now is if you go to Patreon and you sign up through any of our tiers, I will be releasing videos of our patrons competing who have actually recorded their matches and sent them over to us, and we commentate over them. So we have stuff to put up there for you to go and watch. I make sure to only put up the videos from people who are no longer competing. So once people have been either knocked out of the tournament or have won, then I will be putting up their replays, their stuff. So it's fun. And then, of course, you get all the other Patreon perks as well. But for those competing in the league, I do want to remind you that this little pin I hold here in my hand that I finally have is one of the things that you compete for. The runner-up and the winner get one of these super cool Pokésports pins. So
the Pokésports badge.
It's a Pokésports badge, basically, yeah. I've been low-key wanting one of these for 6 months, and I'm holding it in my hand, and I love it so much.
Does it feel nice?
It feels really nice. I've got to send you one.
If you guys want to feel it, you have to win the Leech, so go do it.
For now. Once we set up our shop properly for sale of our own stuff, then that'll work too. Anyway, I want to give a big patron shout out to Ahmed, Brian, Elijah, Zach, Alex, Carlos, Ceaseless Rose, Colton, Jordan, Lights Out, Lewis, Neil, Scott, Sheldon, Dante, Jesse, Joseph, Carrie, Perry, Mike, Robert, Spencer, Jack, Swede, Marco, Roixon, Sinav, Chad, and Christopher, Federico, Hal, Ryan, Tristan, and Tofu as well.
I love how Carrie and Perry were next to each other. That's great. Carrie Perry.
I know. I was reading it, like I was testing myself if I could actually read it. And when I came to Carrie Perry, it was very funny for me. I enjoyed that. Big thanks to M Dash for every single second of every single piece of music you hear on this podcast. YouTube.com/M Dash. Go and check him out. That is going to be the end of the podcast. Wow. Yes. I had it. I went through the entire patron shout out and then I was like, thank you for listening. And it became thank you for blabby lip. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.